Previously, we saw that Yumimiya called everyone to the rooftop for a meeting. He then arrived himself and began the meeting. He told everyone that they must have come early in the morning and hadn't had breakfast yet, so he offered them sandwiches. Seeing this, Sakura asked what was going on, and Sora remarked that it felt like a picnic. Then we were shown a flashback where all the sandwiches had been prepared by Tachibana. He also made tea for everyone. Tsujishi was seen serving the tea to everyone. Seeing this, Neirei offered to help him, but Tsujishi became visibly angry upon seeing the three of them. He wondered why they were even there. Despite his irritation, he placed cups in front of everyone, except Sakura. Sakura, noticing this, got angry and asked where his cup was. Tsujishi, also getting angry, crushed a cup and handed it to Sakura. Sakura, even more furious, asked how he was supposed to drink tea from that. Yumimiya scolded Tsujishi, saying he shouldn't waste cups like that. Feeling nervous, Tsujishi tried to straighten the crushed cup and handed it to Sakura, which made Yumimiya happy. He thanked Tsujishi for not wasting the cup. However, Sakura still questioned how he was supposed to drink from such a cup. Then, Araki told Yumimiya that while the food was good, they should get straight to the main topic. Yumimiya agreed. Neirei then asked he should explain what happened yesterday. Yumimiya said there was no need since Tsubaki had already told him everything and even Kanji had sent his thanks, meaning the job was well done. Tsubaki thanked the three again for their help. Still confused, Neirei asked why they were called if they didn't need to explain themselves. Yumimiya then turned to Sakura and asked what he thought about Endo after meeting him yesterday. Sakura replied that Endo was terrible. Yumimiya laughed and said he had heard from Tsubaki that Endo was interested in Sakura, so he thought it would be a good time to tell him more about Endo. To do so, he said he needed to tell the story from the beginning, how Bofurin was formed. That's why he gathered everyone. Neirei interrupted, saying he already knew how Bofurin was created. It was formed when Yumimiya's group entered the school. Yumimiya acknowledged this and said that was just the basic story. What he was going to share was something that had been left behind, a story from their past, about Shadow. He then asked Neirei how much he knew in detail about the story. Neirei began explaining, everything started 2 years ago on April 7th. Furin High School was infamous for its delinquents. 5 students joined the school, they shared the same ambition. This was Yumimiya's group. At that time, fights were common in Furin, both internally and with outsiders. But as soon as Yumimiya's group entered, they challenged every faction within the school and defeated them one by one. In a short time, they rose to the top of Furin. Even their seniors couldn't stop them. They turned their defeated enemies into allies and gradually spread their influence throughout the school. As a result, the fighting within Furin decreased. Exactly a year later, they did something unprecedented. All those who had gathered under Furin made a promise to protect the town. That's how Furin became Bofurin. After Nirai's story, everyone praised her storytelling. Hiragi remarked that the story wasn't so simple, and Yumimiya agreed. Neirei replied that it seemed like he about to hear a story he had never heard before. Hiragi told Yumimiya that while he fought the leader one-on-one, he had to fight 30 people at once. Mizuki teased him, saying he was exaggerating. Hiragi fired back, saying Mizuki got dangerous whenever his glasses broke. Another person, Mamos, said he was like Yumimiya and only remembered how to draw. Hearing all this, Sakura asked about the shadow mentioned in the story, what did it mean? Neirei answered that it referred to Endo. Yumimiya confirmed it was true, but not the full story. He asked Neirei how much he knew about Endo. Neirei replied that if you entered Furin, you had to know about Endo, he was a legend. Sakura recalled that Soa had said even he knew Endo, and he was just a first-year student. Endo had formed a group and constantly fought, even defeating seniors. But unlike Yumimiya's group, Endo's group only fought to gain allies and power. They were a small group of elites who didn't just fight within Furin but also crushed teams from outside. Nerei said she'd heard that Endo's group was so brutal that they once burned down an entire place. If you went up against Endo, it was basically game over. He was the biggest obstacle to the unification of Furin. But eventually, the hero, Yumimiya, defeated the legend, Endo, and Furin was unified. However, Endo's group didn't join the unified Furin. They left it entirely. That's why they were called Shadow. Because they rejected unified Furin and chose to walk away. It meant Endo didn't agree with Yumimiya's beliefs. Since Yumimiya's influence shaped what Furin became, Endo likely wants revenge. And that's why he became a shadow. After hearing this, Yumimiya says, Nerei, there are two mistakes in your story. First, they didn't take action for revenge, but seeing the situation now, it looks like they're against Furin. Nerei replies, no matter what, your group already defeated them once, right? We can win again. Yumimiya responds, that's your second mistake. They didn't reject unified Furin. They abandoned it themselves. They left after the first year ended. Hearing this, Sakura says, so that means you all unified Furin after a year. Nerei gets nervous and says, does that mean? Yumimiya says, yes, you understood correctly. We never actually defeated them. Nerei gets more nervous and asks, what exactly are you trying to say? Yumimiya says, you already know how we unified Furin and turned everyone into allies. After that, we made it our goal to protect this town. But Endo's group wanted the old Furin back, a place full of fights and challenges. We fought against Endo's group many times. Every time it felt like a death match. But in the end, there was never a clear winner. On the other hand, we kept fighting the other factions and turned them into allies. Our numbers grew. Because of that, the atmosphere in Furin began to change. Furin became disciplined. Seeing that, Endo and his group completely lost interest in Furin and left. The chaos and violence they wanted to bring back into Furin, they carried that chaos and violence within themselves. Jowsen Conra says, so that means he was the shadow and then he left. Yumimiya replies, yes, but now that shadow is returning. I don't know why, but in the worst case scenario, maybe they want Furin to return to how it used to be, full of fights. Hearing this, everyone goes silent. Sakura starts laughing and says, that's perfect. If they come to us on their own, we'll save time. We won't have to go to them. Sakura turns to everyone and says, are you all scared? We just have to do one simple thing. It doesn't matter who's in front of us, we just need to defeat the opponent that stands in our way. Then Sakura thinks to himself, I'm laughing at myself now. I used to say I'd fight to become number one, and that it's the best feeling ever. But later I realized it's about things and feelings. Sakura remembers all the important things others taught him. Reflecting on this, he says, we protect the things we love, right? That's what Bofurin has always done. Everyone is shocked after hearing this. At the same time, Yumimiya remembers how Tachibana once told him about Sakura, how Sakura came to this town thinking about how Furin used to be. He said this place was perfect for him. Remembering the past, Yumimiya becomes happy and says to Sakura, I'm really glad you came to this town. Sakura gets shy hearing that. Then Yumimiya says, if you ever get a chance to face Endo, I'm counting on you, handle him. He adds, it's rare for Endo to take an interest in someone else like this. But since he has, you need to stay alert. Sakura says, yeah, of course. Just don't say later that I stole your target. Yumimiya laughs and says, don't worry. Endo never had any interest in me. Even when he was in Furin, we never fought one-on-one. Everyone is surprised to hear this. Sakura says, but didn't you say you fought Endo's group many times? Yumimiya replies, yes, I said I fought his group, not Endo himself. He adds, back then, there was another legend. Nerei and Soa both say, "We've never heard of that person." Nerei asks, "If he's a legend, does that mean there was another person like Endo?" Yumiya replies, "No, the person I'm talking about is far more powerful than Endo. He's someone I could never defeat." Everyone is shocked. Nerei nervously asks, "Who is this person you couldn't defeat?" Yumiya says, "His name is Chika Takashi. He's the most powerful person in Furin's history." In the next scene, we see Endo coming out of a shop holding ice cream. As he walks into an alley, he becomes excited seeing the scene there. Many people are lying on the ground. We learn that these people were defeated by none other than Chika Takashi. Endo says, "What did you do here?" Chika replies, "I was trying to light fireworks, but these people were in the way." Endo laughs and says, "Yeah, it's their fault. But why did you stack them one on top of another?" Chika says, "Because fireworks are launched from above, right?" Then Chika puts a firework on one person's forehead and lights it. But he gets disappointed. "I wanted the firework to go even higher. Looks like I'll need to beat up more people, so I can stack their bodies and make a better launch pad." And with that, this amazing episode ends. Since this was the final episode of the season, the anime ends here too. As soon as season 3 is released, I'll upload it on this channel. So, wait for it. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And thank you for showing so much love to this series. I'll see you all again with another amazing new series. Until then, bye bye.